I believe you. I don't know what the preset is on there. But let us know either way when you're gonna go to it, because
I
Let me swap over.
Yep,
John.
less than when we're ready, John. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Camelot Smite League. This is week 2, and this is the Arthur division. We got Going Ghost versus Ice Age. I'm Raptor, and joining me is Helenu. And Helenu, right off the bat, we've already got some pretty standard bans with the Hebo, the Freya, and the Alquang.
Yeah, just getting right into it. I love it. The Hebo band, I'm a little bit surprised to see up here. Hebo's definitely good right now. I think he's, as you get higher, has some more counters going in. Freya's not surprising, and then Alquang all around, just good, oppressive, annoying picks right now.
Yeah, Oleron is... I see him get banned out a lot, and is a lot of that for the ultimate? Because in my mind, you can just pick like a Vimana, which I know that Ice Age likes to play in that jungle role. You can just pick a Vimana and run at them. Why do we see the Oleron ban here?
His lane is actually very strong right now, which Oleron's 2 does like 200 something base damage, which is very cool ability. That and the Cyclopean Ring style build coming out is just really good for him. It gets him some CDR inside his build, which is normally something that before that item was hard for Oleron to come by. So I think the build path just really favors him right now. And the Kakalin ban as well. Kakalin's just strong right now. And the Cleo right off the bat.
The insta-locking the Cleo, that can be going jungle or ADC. We have been seeing a lot of Cleo ADC in the SPL play-ins, if you have been watching those. And I absolutely hate it, let me tell you. As an ADC secondary, every time I see a Cleo in lane, I just kind of want to not play anymore.
It is definitely a flex. Physics, who I believe is playing at this game, loves that pick. I'm sure it is still a flex. I would not be shocked if that ends up going into the mid lane for him. Also not surprised they ended up top picking it this set. Strat, that's one of his favorite characters as well. So 2 people that highly prioritize Cleo, and a meta where Cleo's good. First overall makes sense to me.
Well, looking over at Going Ghost, they are going to take Chiron and Tiamat in their top 2. So mid and ADC, respectively, 2 very good picks right now, especially that Tiamat just gets so much pressure in lane.
Yeah, Tia's first 5 levels are not great, and after that she's absolutely huge. Once she hits that level 6 or 7, she just becomes really annoying in lane. Surprised they prioritize Chiron so high. I don't think Chiron's bad right now, but I think if you are going to play a physical hunter, I think Ishtar and Rama have kind of looked like the premier physical hunters so far, so a little surprised they prioritize the Chiron so high. It does suggest that Skillsy is actually playing an ADC as well. I saw him play a bunch of assassins over in ADC last week.
Yeah, but it does look like we'll be seeing the Chiron in that ADC role. Meanwhile, for Ice Age, we see Agni and Ganesh getting picked up here. And these are 2 picks that, we see pretty often in comp in their roles. But for me, I think of them as second round, 4th and 5th pick. I don't really think that these 2 should be picked up often in the top 3, unless it's about comfort. Which in the Arthur division, I expect them to be comfortable on just about everything because I'm a Lancelot player.
Agni is in this meta is really good. He abuses tablet just about as well as any mage does. In this kind of mid meta where you're not really building percent pen, you're just building all of the proccing items. Agni does that super well. I think that's why you've seen him. He's been super popular, at least in Arthur this year. The Ganesh is a little more surprising. There's a joke that coming from Valhalla, where a lot of these players are coming from, that Ganesh is the Valhalla special, where that character just seems to do very well for some reason, even though it's not necessarily meta. So a little surprised to see it, but the dodgy is... You have 2 backliners without CC immune ults and Ganesh as well, so I love the dodgy pick.
Yeah, that's a really good dodgy pick. So dodgy is one of my favorite picks in the jungle. of all time. I absolutely love what Daji can bring with the CC that her ult can bring to just the pure burst potential in the mid to late game. But especially looking at this comp, the Kalina, the Agni, the Ganesh, you said it best, no CC immunity. And Daji is just going to have a feast to go on. Those beads are going to be on constant cooldown. I absolutely love that pick. Going into bans, it looks like the Vimana is the next ban for going Ghost. As I said earlier, we have seen Ice Age dabble in the Vimana jungle, and then a Ymir banned out by Ice Age. What are you expecting to see next, do you think, coming out from Ghost bans?
I think Ghost, I think it's a little bit harder to pin down what Ghost is going to ban here. I think Ice Age just clearly just need to get rid of Beats Burn. You have a Daji that's going to pull beads. Right now, you don't really have anything else paired with it that pulls beads. Tiamat and Chiron really aren't going to pull your beads very often. So trying to take away some of the supports and solo laners that can really make your Daji look good.
Well, they do just that, banning out the Ymir and the Guan Yu, and on the other side, we see the Vimana and the Ne Zha banned out. So going right into the bans, or the picks, I'm sorry, you asked for someone who can burn beads. I don't think of Jormungandr as a beads burner.
He can. It's definitely not a premier beads burner. I do think Yorm is really good right now. Another character that just said he abuses that Sundering Axe tablet solo lane build really hard. And Yorm 1 just kind of whacks you for like 600 at every 5 or 6 seconds late game, and it's really annoying to deal with. If you watched the stream last night, ENI's dropped 60k on Jormungandr solo. It is very annoying. So like it in that regard. Not sure I love it with comp overall. It is a good just dive comp. You have Chiron snipes coming from the back, and then Tiamat and Daji, Jorm just dive. So potentially trying to look a little bit more towards just a straight dive comp than a beads burn comp.
Well, Ice Age taking a bit of time thinking about what they want these last two picks to be. Is there anything specific you think they should take, or anywhere they should be looking, do you think, as they hover this Wukong?
Wukong's interesting. It would make their CC pretty single target. The Achilles, I think, makes a little more sense. Achilles is a pretty good counter into Yorm. Cancels his 2 in lane. One of the good ways to deal with Yorm is the execute, or Yorm famously, you get in trouble if his ult's away, but reducing that threshold of when Yorm needs to channel the ult, it's pretty easy to execute him on his way out. So like that pick. It's also just a comfort pick for Arc. He really likes that Achilles pick.
Yeah, I have a question though. Kurnanos, his ultimate doesn't have any CC immunity on it, correct? When he casts it? So they have 4 prime Daji ult targets. This draft from Ice Age confuses me, because specifically the bottom 2, because I really like them, all these characters individually. I think that they came out with a great draft altogether. But then I look on the other side and see the Daji, and then I realize that they picked a Kurnanos into it. I don't know how I feel about this Ice Age team comp, or this Ice Age draft. I really don't know, because that Daji just shuts down almost all of them.
It is also 4 characters that cannot get away from Cabrakan Wall. The only person that can get away from it is Ganesh, can dash through those walls. But so I think Ghosts have drafted themselves a really good dive comp here. Shoutouts to picking the Cabrakan support. Definitely not something that's popular right now, but
is Aurora in this game? Jeez.
Yeah, Inbound has really been playing it in these SPL play-in tournaments, and it's made it that nice to see somebody realizing that Cabrakan can still work in these games is good.
Yeah. Well, before we sorry.
Yes, they are flipped a little bit. Okay, it looks like I got corrected on stream where Ice Age was showing up under GG. So
yeah, well, before we hop into game, as these players are getting set up and our our spectators getting everything ready, how do you see this game going? I have a feeling I already know your answer, but I'm very curious. How do you where's the focus point in this? Let's start with this. Where's the focus point in this match? Where should we be looking for the early fights, for the late fights? Who has the advantage in the stages of the games?
I think that if I'm Ghost, I am going hard into trying to make sure the Cleo doesn't get online. Cleo's late game is really hard to deal with on this map. I think if the Ice Age draft does end up finding some success, it'll be from Kleena can just be obnoxious come team fights. She just kind of half healths your carries from a wall, and there's not a whole lot of counterplay besides just don't stand next to the don't stand where Cleo doesn't want you to stand. Um, but I really like that. I think the Dodgy, as we talked about, has some great targets. So I think on the side of Ghosts, gonna be playing around Dodgy ults, and then playing around those Cabrakan walls that they really don't have a great way to deal with. Also interesting that the Ganesh chose to not go beat. He is going Thebes, so he'll be tanky a little bit faster than going the Prophetic Rush. But Ganesh will be a target for the first 12 minutes of the game. You can just dodgy pull him in, Kabrak and wall him in, and there's really not anywhere for him to go. So I think be curious to see if he gets punished for not going beads.
Yeah, this is going to be very interesting as the minions spawn and the game has started. And something I've noticed very interesting. So I'm a jungle player. I always play on the right side of the map from this context. The start on the left, I always hear my teammates saying, can we do all three? Should we just do green and white? What's the better start over there, do you think? Or is it completely based on team?
I think it's based on their characters a little bit. I think CERN's actually one of the characters that does okay with it, with pulling all three together, because he does have that AoE on his upfront autos. But I think for most hunters, just doing the two, then doing your purple at the end is a little bit better. You run the risk of pulling all three that your support or your hunter is just like half health walking into lane, which doesn't feel great. It does usually get you there sooner. Honestly, both of these teams probably could have, but I think they both elected to do the two and then one. Kabrak and Chiron also has pretty good clear. But
a lot of pressure over here in the left lane. This Kurnos and Ganesh, I honestly was not expecting them to get pressured this early on the ongoing Ghost duo lane. Chiron and Kabrakan just screams run at you, literally in Kabrakan's face or case. But I'm very surprised to see Ice Age gain this much pressure. As look at this, Zek is over here looking for a possible gank. They are pushed up. They're in a pinch. Going Ghost is, and now in the wall goes Zek. He goes for the Chiron, and Chiron just barely able to get out. But the Kabrakan, it might not be as lucky, and he will not be first blood. Goes to Favor Saver in the duo lane, and Ice Age off to a great start.
Yeah, really, really big that it's going to the CERN. CERN is definitely a character that's capable of snowballing. Looks like Ghost is just taking mid camps as their consolation, which should help get their mid laner ahead at least, but definitely not as useful as first blood going to your CERN. So that starts to turn into a potentially scary lane of at some point here CERN's going to be sitting on full Aussie while Skillsy's sitting on T2 of Transcendence, and that just feels horrible.
Yeah, really. It's even worse that goes on to your Kabrakan. Like, you don't want anyone to fall, obviously, and obviously you don't want the Chiron to fall, but the fact that it's a Kabrakan, you want that Kabrakan to just get off to an early start and bully. Just straight up, you run at them with no fear. Now, being 2 levels down on Favor Saver and probably close to 2 levels on Tatri, he's really not going to be able to do that for a little bit as a blue buff invade over here on left, and they do and they do successfully do it. Ibba was taken is over here, might be looking for to take something back, but he's just going to go back to farming.
Yeah, very smart, I think, from Ghost. Yorm is a character that needs his blue buff. His mana costs are pretty high. He went Axe, so he doesn't have, he's a little bit of built-in mana sustain, but not a lot. So that lane is gonna get a lot rougher for the Jormungandr here for a few minutes. I'm assuming he's going that tablet rush. It's an expensive item. and it doesn't give you MP5 until it is finished. So I'd really like to see Ghost keep going back to that. Achilles has great early pressure as well, and Dodgy's early game is not great.
So we've been talking a lot about Dodgy into Ice Age's team comp. For good reason, right? Ice Age kind of just dug themselves into a hole with this draft, but how does the jungle matchup shape up so far? We see Iba has about half a level lead as Zek just takes over to 5, but Zek does have that assist on the first blood on him. How does this jungle matchup fare in the early game, do you think?
In the early game, I think it's a little bit volatile. Really, it's just the Cleo has beads. She can take the fight. If she doesn't, Dodgy should just, obviously win that straight up. I think pretty much the whole game, Dodgy's winning that 1v1s. It's one of the strengths of Dodgy is that she 1v1s most assassins. I don't think Cleo's an exception to that, where her burst damage is just insane, especially on a character like Cleo, where if she gets caught out and wants to just go into the wall, if she's got enough tick damage on her, potentially just outright kill her or just stop her from getting into the wall. So I don't expect to see Zek going for a whole lot of 1v1s versus the Dodgy.
Well, we're seeing the wild solo laners in their natural habitat just beating on each other, knowing neither of one of them will die. Just getting that player damage up, even though we see Kern is actually at the top. This Kernanos has really just been going in on these two, as Dodgy looks like he tried to get a little bit of an invade going, and now they will just try and run away at half health, but now up into the powwow goes Iba, trying to find Zek, forces out the beads, but now in comes Rad, and Rad, he's going in, trying to find this Kleena. Kleena can't go into the wall, and now Rad is all by himself, and Rad will fall to Zach, picking up the second kill of the game. Just a little bit of an overextension by going Ghost, and it cost him their mid laner.
Yeah, it looked like, I'm assuming that Zek hit his 2 on Razor there. It looked like he wasn't sure where the Cleo went, which I'm assuming it's just because the invis. Yeah, really, it's overextension by the Tiamat a little bit. I get being aggressive with Tia. Level 7 is not generally where I am looking to get aggressive on Tiamat. She clears pretty well at that point, but her cooldowns are long until they have points, and then they get pretty drastically shorter as you start to level them. Another little small thing is that I love that Yorn picked up the Mystical Earring tier 1 there. They get just the MP5 tier 1, realizing that he might not get a blue buff for a lot of this game.
Well, forced into the ultimate goes the big Sneck, and he will just ult away strat. He was backing anyway, so no harm, no foul, and he does have that teleport up, but this Achilles, he's just been running this lane. This strat has had no chance of really getting any footing in this lane. He's had his blue buffs constantly invaded, even though it looks like he got the last one. Arc has just been running at him. And speaking of running at him, a blink and then an immediate teleport right onto Favor Saber goes Iba, and the Wild Hunt comes down. No beads for the Kernos, and the Kernos will fall. Iba gets the first kill, and Going Ghost is on the board.
Really nicely done there by Favor. Unfortunately, got his wasn't able to hold his dash, so Dodgy got the teleport in there. Like they did make the Dodgy use their blink at least, but just good identification by Ghost that you have a Cernanos that doesn't have beats. It's really not a whole lot that can be done there.
I'm really curious because, oh no, I was looking at the wrong timer. Okay, his beats were coming up in 30. No, I was looking at the teleport timer. That's my mistake.
That is why Octa is prioritized, by the way.
Yeah, Rad, he's gonna need a couple items to really start sending damage back towards Zax. And now we have a tank fight in mid, just slapfest, and Iba will come and break that up. So state of the game, we're about 1k gold in the lead for Ice Age. Do you favor Ice Age in the late game? Like if this lead stayed the same going into late game, Is that enough, or would you favor going Ghost in late game?
I think I prefer Ghosts draft a little bit in the late game. I think the saving grace of Ice Age's draft is the Cleo late, but Dodgy, Tiamat, Dorm late game are all monsters in the late game. The Chiron falls off a little bit. I think the CERN and Chiron, both their best parts, probably kind of in the mid game, but both they're ADCs. They're not going to be completely falling off the cliff. But I do think that they need to get this Achilles ahead on the side of Ice Age and have the Achilles kind of snowball before Dorm's able to build up those tablet stacks and get them built online. Because right now he's really squishy. He doesn't have that much damage because he doesn't have many stacks on the tablet. So the Dorm's pretty abusable right now. Give him another 2 or 3 items and all of a sudden he's really a problem.
Understar getting caught out a little, but with no follow-up from Zax. Instead, it will be Tatri who gets dove on. The Cabrakan wall comes out. He knows the dash is down for Tatri. And Tatri, will he be able to escape? It looks like he will, and now Rad is the one who's in trouble. Up into the powwow under tower goes Iba. He pulls in one, beads pulled by the Agni, and now he's just trying to run, but the Kleena gets the double kill on the backside. Rad and Understar falling to this Kleena jungle, and if you're going Ghost, that is not what you want to see. A character that you just said was the late game win condition for Ice Age. She's up 202 right now and up a level on your Daji.
Yeah, that's starting to get a little scary. I was hoping we can take a look at the net worth charts here. I'm curious how far ahead both Favor and the Cleo are.
Well, this Pyromancer surely helps.
That definitely helps. Yeah, it looks like Cleo's actually not super far behind, ahead, so Iba's done a good job of making sure he at least gets his farm. But 1,000 gold up for Favor, it's quite a bit. It looks like 500 gold for the Agni as well. I understand Ghost going for that dive. They put a lot of resources into that Ganesh, and you feel like you really have to find that kill. But I think it just goes back to it's a level 10 Tiamat. You don't have your cooldown yet. You don't have any pen yet. I absolutely adore Tiamat. I think she's great in the meta right now. Her early game is not great. So I think just dialing it back a little bit and getting that Tiamat to late game.
Yeah, can we talk about how much was used on Tatri in that fight? And he didn't die. He couldn't even dash through Cabrakan's wall, so he ate all those tremors, and he still survived. If I'm on the side of going Ghost, that frightens me a little, because if the Ganesh didn't die to that, what is gonna kill this guy? Because he's just gonna be able to...
Probably nothing. Yeah, again, it just goes back to with the way mid builds are right now, where you're going tablet second on nearly everybody. It's really good late game. It's not good early. You see both mid laners going to it, which I think that is the correct build right now. So definitely, no harm in going that build. Just realizing that you don't really hurt supports early. You want to keep poking to get your stacks, but it's hard to all in commit. So it looks like
Zach, what are you doing?
Oh, Skillsy's gonna get the revive.
Going just a little too hard for it. And in the mid lane, powwow. This is going Ghost Answer. They kill the jungler and the mid laner. That is massive for going Ghost. Still about 1.5k down in gold, but that is massive to get those two off the board right now.
Yeah, that's specifically. I think getting Skillsy a kill is huge. Where he was almost 1,000 behind in that lane. That shoots him right back up. Still probably not even, but a lot closer. And same thing with Sezix. You want to play up as Agni. He bullies lane really hard, but I think against a Dodgy, you kind of have to realize that if she comes into your lane and you're not, even if you are under a tower, if your beads are down, she can just pull you out and it's a kill.
Yeah, his beads are up now, so they had to have been on cooldown to get pulled by there. It had to have been. That's very unfortunate and great timing by Iba to recognize that and have that timer in his head. And now Oracle's coming up. Looks like there's a bit of a fight, and Zax, those are warning shots. Those are warning shots right
even
there.
that's a third of her HP. That's
Are they not gonna?
legitimate damage there.
Okay, Zax does to go back to finish the oracles. I got a little worried that they were just gonna drop them after investing so much in it. Oh, look at this! Arc is over in left lane, and it looks like the rotation by Strat is gonna be there as well. And so it looks like we're gonna be grouping up for this Gold Fury, and well, Favor's not going to be anymore. Strat, using the Big Snake ultimate, gets the kill there. And now, look at this. Skillsy is falling very low. A great Aegis gets him out a lot of damage, but now, no way he gets out. No way he gets out. The Powwow used to pick up Zex, and now is a 2 for none. A great Bracken ultimate that stuck in the Tremors is Tatri, and Tatri is going to fall as well. And now, look at Arc, still full health. He's going to be able to try and just wave them off. But that is 3 for none. And they don't even get Gold Fury off of it.
That Yorm is putting in so much work. Yeah, that Yorm build is terrifying. I think we're starting to see a shift a little bit away from the negation warriors into these tablet warrior or guardians. It's really effective. It's makes your early game not great, but they show you have a guardian that's still pretty tanky. He's built 4 tank items plus tablet, and all of a sudden their abilities are hitting you for 500 or 600. It can be really hard to deal with. Going prosthetic as well, so be able to stack that up in lane. It looks like he's actually going towards more damage, which I'm a little bit surprised to see. Going towards even more damage than just the tablet, but I mean he's 2-0, so
yeah, just that. In terms of gold, this game is even yet again. But it looks like the Gold Fury is being pulled by Going Ghost. Does anyone know on Ice Age? It doesn't seem like it. Favor's backing. This is a free Gold Fury.
Ice Age did pull Pyro.
They do get Pyro, but they gave up a Gold Fury. So this is a conversation that has been happening a lot in the SPL play-ins. If you have been watching those, because of the Pyromancer bomb, is it worth it to trade out Pyro for gold now? Because it didn't used to be.
I think it's so they didn't change the XP and gold on Pyro, so it still doesn't give you as much gold and XP as Gold Fury. I think if you're in an even game state where you can realistically potentially use that bomb, it's okay. I think if you're really far behind, it feels much worse to trade Pyro, because when are you realistically going to get a chance to actually use that bomb if you're already very far behind? So in a state like this where it's still a relatively very close game, actually, I think trading it's absolutely fine.
No. Favor Saber caught between a wall and a hard place, and the hard place is a horseman.
His rig just came up. I think Ghost is doing a really good job.
Oh, but on the other side, a counter gank picks up Strat over there. So 1-for-1 across the map. ADC for solo.
Yeah,
with no objectives up, I don't think that hurts anyone in particular.
No, I think that's where Ice Age has to lean, realizing Strat has chosen to go very aggressive. He is definitely killable. And likewise, realizing that Ghost has done a really good job playing around relic timers. CERN's relics came up maybe half a second before he died. So really good identification that their comp without relics just cannot fight, and it's the age-old for Smite comp of I'm playing a character that doesn't have CC immunity, my beads are down, I really don't want to give up all of my farm, but a lot of times it's almost what kind of have to do. And they're definitely done a good job of punishing Ice Age for still trying to step up the farm without their relics up.
Speaking of stepping up to farm, Arc was not just doing that. He kind of just walked up to Yorm and Daji. All three of them looked at each other and just walked away. Over there and right. They were like, I can't kill you, you can't kill me, we're just cool.
That Yorm could die. He's elected to go towards, I assume, a Soul Reaver, kind of third here, not counting the earring. He is not tanky. He's probably got about, I assume most of those stacks are physical on his pathetic right now, so I mean, he's maybe has 35, 40 extra fizz prots on top of his base stats. It's not a whole lot for a dodgy that's already got 3 items, and Achilles that's also sitting 3 items deep. I think if they want to kill that Yorm, they can pretty much kill him whenever they want to.
Would I be the only one who would be laughing if that Tiamat Tornado changed targets from Zax to Tatri and stopped his back right there?
It's a horrible feeling.
I just thought that was funny.
Oh, definitely. I think the good news is that the Yorm's obviously in solo, so if you send, you send Zek back over to kill the Yorm, it makes it a lot easier to then just pull gold while their jungler's on the other side. So I think it's kind of a saving grace that he's in solo and not in duo, obviously. But
speaking of gold's coming up in about 20 seconds, and it looks like both teams know this as they both are posturing over here. Getting some wards, Ori control does go to Going Ghost, so they have the vision of the whole pit, though we did see Ice Age's Sentry Ward in there, and now as Oni Fury is spawning, we wait for someone to do something, and it looks like that someone might be Ark as he dashes in, and with the help of Zek, takes Skrills very, very low. The Tectonic Shift locks in the Klina, but it looks like Understar just ended up locking himself in with 3 people, and now Ark so close to taking out Skills that he could not.
Wrapping around on the back here could potentially get quite a bit of value out of here. You got no relics up on the Cernanos.
Well, the Palau comes out. He is about to pick up. It is the jungler, and it will be the jungler trade out, but Strat will fall in turn. Zax will take down Rad, the triple kill for the mid lane Agni, and now they're looking for this left lane tower and then possibly Oni Fury afterwards.
And that fight started out so looking like it was gonna go Ghost's way. Really, Tiamat was in there doing just a crazy amount of damage. I think the Agni damage really went kind of crazy there. This could be a risky Gold Fury. They're not particularly healthy.
Yeah, this isn't free. Understar is here. Ark is zoning out Mr. Skillsy. A blink in from the Kabrakan, and he's trying everything he can. The Tectonic Shift, but he's the one that's falling off. Takes him down! And with that, the ultimate from Skillsy will take down Tatri with the help of the Gold Fury, and now they can't do Gold Fury. That they have to back up support for support.
Huge Chiron ults did just too much damage to both the.
Oh, now they're picking it up.
Yeah, and it's gonna be just Ark that's there. Actually, looks like he just backed. He just realized that they give it up again.
He just upgraded his teleport. No, he teleported over towards Pyro. So they will be trading out once again. But this will be 2 Pyro bombs for Ice Age, and I like to think of it as an investment for the short term versus investment for the long term. You pick up the Gold Fury, you get more gold, more XP. That's very good for the short term. You get Pyro, you get that bomb, which is really good for sieges and objectives. So it's really just who wants to do what right now.
I really like the decision to give it to the Cleo as well. Makes her split push a lot scarier, knowing that she can just go and drop a bomb and auto a Phoenix twice and it's gone. Really prefer that choice over giving it to, like, say your soul laner and your support. So like that, mid laners are starting to get online in player damage and in builds. See the Zafamirda coming out for Agni. I think just it's kind of an Agni special right now where I don't think Mirrodin feels particularly great in that spot over something like the Reaver that Tiamat wants, but he is sitting at 30% cooldown now, so those bombs are just going to be constant.
I did notice something though, a kin size coming out for Zek on this Klina, going a bit ability or auto attack based. I'm sorry. How do you feel about this? Well, actually, hold that thought as the fight breaks out under this tier 1 tower. They will take it down, but now Zek, he can't go into the wall. He's left all on his own, has to use the beads to get out of those tremors, and now turns around, uses one of his ult ticks, and a blink in from instantly leads to him losing a lot of his health. Zax has to use the beats to get out, ends up pulling in Tatri, and now Understar with the Agni bombs pulls and that's a 1 for none. They get the tier 1 tower though, and Iba, I feel that, man. Blinking in and losing all of your health instantly. It does not feel good.
Yeah, it looks like he got silenced right as he blinked in. Wasn't sure if that was the Cleo or the Ganesh silence, but yeah, it doesn't feel great. Any character was specifically dodgy. It's just blinking in and immediately getting silenced. Yeah, doesn't feel great when your whole identity as a character is to just blink, do your damage, and get up into the powwow as fast as you can.
Well, they don't have a sentry ward, so they do know, the Going Ghost that this is happening. But with the bomb on Ganesh, Kleena isn't here right now, so she can't use hers. They are committing to this. They is below 25% health. The Jormungandr ult trying to just zone them out. The Ganesh ult that goes down onto it. Zek and Rad will end up falling. Sax will take down Strat, but Arc will fall in turn but to Iba. 2 for 2, but Ice Age does get that Fire Giant, and now they're on the run. They have to retreat. Zach's sticking around. He has to be careful. The Skibraken doesn't have ult, so it isn't the worst thing. A blink forward from Understar, though. He wants this, and the retreat will be the call.
Yeah, little bit surprised that Ghost didn't push that a little bit harder. Yeah,
Well, this is that you asked for a little bit harder. No, he's on Zax, and Zax is so low. Will he survive? No, he will not. Skills will take one, Iba will take the other, and Favor is the only one with Fire Giant still left on him.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that call from Ice Age. I think Arc put in a crazy amount of work from keeping Ghost from getting closer to that sooner. I think if you just kind of sack his life and get out there, you're probably feeling okay about it. But they took so much damage from fire and damage from Strat taking that fire that they do keep it on their ADC, which is obviously, if you're gonna keep it on one person, that's probably the person you want it on. But as far as game state, kind of just puts it back to almost like it didn't happen.
All right, did I miss some sort of memo? I see kin size on Kern, which makes sense. I see kin size on Kleena, which is a little questionable, and then I see kin size on Achilles. Primal Fury's falling low. It's not going to be taken though, as Jormungandr does force out Favor, the only one with Fire Giant still. Tectonic Shift locks in this Achilles, but Achilles gets out in the end. Favor is still alive, and because of the Dharmic Pillars, it will be a retreat called by Going Ghost. But now that since we were so rudely interrupted, did I miss something about kin size where you're picking it up on Achilles?
I don't think so. What I don't understand about it, I don't hate the idea. What I don't understand is that its Strat just gets melted. Yeah, that's the one defense item showing right there. There's just nothing he can do. Does have beads, but they were down. But what I don't understand about the double kins this game on untraditional kind of kins characters is that Strat's not building HP. Normally, you build it if you've got a really tanky Hercules or a frontliner that's really hard to deal with. You might see that come out to try and chew through it. Strat's pretty much full damage, and the defense he is building is just protections. It's not health. So I don't have a great answer.
I mean, you already have Heartseeker if you're Zek. These players are a lot smarter than me. Let me put that out. I am a Lancelot Division jungler, okay? I am not the smartest player in the world. But I am very baffled, and probably for a good reason, considering that my co-caster here is an Arthur-level player, and he's baffled as well. I'm very confused. I would love to interview them afterwards and ask them what's up with kin size. I know it got buffed, but that was for the Kernanos in this game, not for the Achilles and the Kleena. Maybe it's some tech, maybe some secret tech that we don't know about. I mean, Arc, that hurt him quite a bit, but he doesn't seem to be hurting by having that extra damage item right now, as all three members of Going Ghost just stand there and stare at him as they take the Pyromancer.
No, and you do often see Achilles going towards an extra damage item. Usually it's something like the Heartseeker, and Heartseeker did get nerfed. So I wonder if that's just the decision of that. If I can't have Heartseeker, maybe Kins is now the best thing for single damage items. you can get away with building just like 3 or 4 damage or defense items on him, and then a couple offense, and just popping into your armor stance. And being
Well,
incredibly tanky.
Iba was taken to the grave.
That's just a clean solo kill.
And now that opens up this Fire Giant. Going Ghost sticking around, but being the man down, and Zek, he's still full health. It doesn't look like Iba did much to him at all, but he is split pushing instead of coming over to this fire. Now Arc will end up falling. This tectonic shift will pick up that kill and seal his fate. And now, look at this Tatri. Has to run away, protecting Zax, but Zek is all by himself. He has to run for his life, but doesn't look like they know quite where he is. Scratch that. They do know where he is. They just haven't caught up to him yet. And I don't know if they will. That Kleena is very slippery, being able to go into walls, and they will not continue to chase. They will go head back. Where's that Fire Giant? I don't think they have the manpower to take it, at least not knowing an Agni is around.
Yeah, so a little bit seems like a little bit of split comms there. Looks like Ice Age picked up the Fire Giant, which you get a pick, which is great. But Zach was going to split push. He wasn't going to fight, and I think you can, if that's the call, your other 4 members just stay at fire, not pulling it. Just telling Ghost like, hey, either you've got to go stop this Cleo from taking all your towers, or we're gonna take the Fire Giant. But you usually don't pull it in that scenario, because all of a sudden it's an even fight. It's not a 5v4 because the Cleo's not there.
Well, Agni starting the Fire Giant for Going Ghost there, and it just throws a little boulder over at Strat. It doesn't hurt him much at all, but we do see another 5-man grouping over here. Kleena, this Zek is over there in right lane, pushing up a few waves, trying to draw their focus over towards them. And Fire Giant started. It was not. I'm sorry. I saw the current autos, and I thought they were connecting. They were not. This is just a dance. Another Powwow pulls the beads this time from Zek. Good damage onto him, but Iba was half health and down to no health just about. His Arc up into the ultimate goes the Jormungandr Strat chasing down Arc. Zek has already fallen, and Arc will fall in the end. Understar will fall in turn, but Zax will fall to Radar, and now the chase is on, and Tatri, it looks like he's just biting the bullet, making sure that Favor does get out, because no way he survives this. He does not, and now right back to this Fire Giant with way more health than last time goes Going Ghost. Just stepping up a little bit too far was Ice Age.
That's cool. The crazy thing about that is that that really wasn't a good dodge. He got the Magi's cloak off of the Cleo. It didn't actually pull.
He didn't even get beads. I didn't notice that.
So really what should have been a good exchange there if you're trading a big team fight ult for just a Magi's bubble. And I think Ice Age just collapsed a little bit too much into one corridor, and that is where Yorm wants you. Yorm is sitting at 34,000 player damage. He might not be the tankiest guy, but he hurts.
He will do the damage, that is for sure, and doing true damage. This mitigations build that we've been seeing a lot of teams go, and I believe Achilles is going at least slightly in this build. Yeah. He didn't go full mitigations like we had been seeing, but he's got a fair bit of mitigations in there. That true damage does not care about that at all. That's a great way. So you just get around it, and this Jormungandr, it's really showing. And you were questioning the Soul Reaver. There is a lot of health in Achilles' build, so it makes more sense than the kin size in my opinion.
Oh, the Yorm is absolutely swinging. I don't know if you need the Reaver to do as much damage as it's doing. I think Tablet kind of just does it, but I don't hate it. I respect, you're picking Yorm for damage. That's why you pick him. You don't pick him to build full defense. I really like the adaptation too by Understar, realizing that there's no anti-heal on the side of Ice Age. So he picked up Mail of Renewal, I think an item that people kind of forgot about. And on characters like Kabrakan, where you're going to be in there, you know they're going to hit you. It's kind of how the character works. That Renewal is going to make him really hard to kill. They don't have any anti-heal.
Yeah. Well, 2 minutes left on this EFG for Going Ghost, and it looks like they want to take This left side Phoenix with it. There are still 2 Pyromancer bombs. Not super useful in a fight, but they can be used in a fight. And in goes Understar, and he's taking hardly any damage. So much has been used on him already. A great tectonic shift blocks the execute, and a great, fantastic powwow pulls Arc right back in. And they still have 2 minutes on this EFG. Doesn't look like they want to go into the Titan room, though, after taking down Arc. Their health bars are just a little too low on Understar and Iba, and they are going to head over, maybe take the rest of the towers with these Oni minions that have spawned in mid lane. But, oh, Raidzor taking a lot of damage there.
Yeah, really good power. Also pulled the beads off the Agni at the same time, too, which is huge. Really sets up a nice return, easy comeback for their Fire Giant, and the Agni's beads are still going to be about down. So, really good play on the Baji. It does look like Ghost is just grouping up, taking out their towers. Kind of a prep Fire Giant for what will be, should be the end of the game if everything goes smoothly for Ghost.
So, genuine question, and people may be calling me an idiot in Twitch chat right now. Does EFG affect the damage that Tiamat's minions do? Like her little creeps that split push, do they affect how much damage they do to towers?
Remove backdoor protections. So
okay.
my guess is that EFG would not affect them, but I am not 100% sure. I know they because EFG doesn't remove backdoor protections from the structures themselves. It just makes you ignore them, I believe, is how that works. So
okay.
it should mean that Tiamat minions don't do
it. I just had a thought, and I was curious. Like, wait, does getting EFG bring an extra buff that no one's ever thought about to Tiamat? But
yeah, Tiamat minions aren't really nearly as much of a threat as they used to be. They've eaten. I mean, not recently, but a couple of years ago, ate a lot of nerfs. It's really a more fair spot, really, where they're good for. They will push a wave in your favor, but they won't push it so hard that it just takes a tower by itself or takes a Phoenix by itself.
This is so smart what Strat is doing. I don't know if you saw, he is pulling, as the Magi's will be pulled off of Zek, but he's using his pools to block off entrances because they're so narrow. I mean, look at I'm not a solo player, and I'm definitely not as smart as these guys. I'm impressed that people thought about picking Yorm just for that. That is a great usage of him.
Really well, because it's normally when you see a Yorm solo, you're fine with walking through that pool. It hits you for 100, whatever. Now if you walk into it, you take a Soul Reaver proc, you take a Tablet proc,
and a Stone of Binding proc.
You're down 400 or 500 HP instead of 100. So.
Ooh, the Chiron ult connects to, does decent damage to Arc, and this is why the Tecton Shift Wall does go down, but into the ultimate goes the Snake! Chasing, he doesn't go down after Arc, he goes after Zax and will end up picking up the kill, and with EFG up, now they could be looking for that with a 4-on-5, that's a massive kill to get. Getting that Agni out, if you're going to pick anyone to get out, Agni's number 1 and Kleina's a very close second.
Ghost is playing that dive so well. I mean, that fight starts from so far away. I mean, it's just Chiron taking what seemingly kind of random ults over the wall and realizing that all he has to do is get somebody to half HP, and the Yorm ult is gonna enough to clean up the rest of it. So.
Ooh, pre-beats from Strat. Fire minions have entered the base of Ice Age, but oh no, the crit. Just swinging away at Understar does a bunch of damage, but a bunch of damage is turned around. Skillsy is swinging, and Iba's swinging just as hard. Gets the triple kill up into the powwow. The beads will be used, but the Quadra, no! Steals the Quadra kill away! Oh no!
So, the silver lining here for Ice Age is at, if you're gonna have only one person up, having your Agni up is the person. The bad news is he has no relics. It's not impossible. As he deletes it, really well done by Sezix. And that's huge. I think probably don't end anymore and probably just take their Phoenixes. Yeah, that kill might have just saved the game for Ice Age. So really well done by the Agni. I think
But
that
still,
kill probably keeps the game going. I think they probably end if the Dodgy is alive. So
that is true, and that's huge. But still, 7K gold lead, 2 Phoenixes down. What does Ice Age have to do to get back into this game? Because it seems like even when a team fight's going their way, in the end, it isn't.
yeah, I was questioning the prioritization of Chiron. It has to be with this type of draft in mind. I mean, it is literally just Chiron snipes do half your HP, Normal does the other half of the HP. You can't peel either ability. Both abilities are, you can Aegis parts of it, but they're long channeled abilities. It's not like a Vulcan ult that's you can just Aegis the whole thing. It's really hard to play into. I think if you're Ice Age, maybe trying to find a flank with your Cleo or something, but I don't think walking at them 5v5 is really an option anymore.
Well, this Fire Giant will only make that harder. It doesn't look like there's much of a defense coming up. Chiron does use the snipes to try and deal a little bit of damage to this Kleena. The Magi's cloak pops just so she can get into the wall, which I don't think she's complaining about. She's taking a lot of damage in that wall, and Strat is aiming right for her, and seeing that, oh, the Magi's was not popped, so she just got into the wall by itself, but Understar takes down Favor Saver. Zax will fall as well, and now what is there to do? What do you do if you're Ice Age? I mean, Kleena has the damage, but other than that, you have 2 tanks, and Kleena just kind of gets blown up anyway into the Titan room. Going Ghost. The Titan already down to 25% HP. Ice Age doing all they can, taking down Ib as a start, but it will not be enough. The Titan will Going Ghost takes game number 1.
Yeah, that comp from Ghost was executed perfectly. I mean, we saw in the damage numbers where the Chiron and the Yorm were like 10 or 15k above everyone else in the lobby. If I'm Ice Age, I'm banning at least part of.
Yeah, it really is, and I'm so conflicted because the early game looked fantastic. It really did for Ice Age. They had, I think at max they had a 3k lead. They were trading Gold Fury for Pyromancers, but they were building up those Pyromancer bombs. You were thinking, okay, Fire Giant fight, this is where everything comes together, and it just didn't happen. And I'm
the detail screen, Jolly, if you don't mind. Just curious where everyone ended up here. Yeah, 48,000 damage on that Yorm. If I am Ice Age, I am top picking that or banning or just getting rid of it. That's just too much damage. And he still mitigated 65k, which isn't. It's not nothing. He's not the tankiest man, but it's not.
It's more than Tatri did on this Ganesh.
Yeah,
like
I think Ganesh, especially into that spell comp, because it's all range damage, so it's not even. You can't silence Chiron ult. You can't silence. You can't silence the Yorm ult. You can't silence a blink Kraken ult. Usually, it's really Ganesh does a lot of things well, but dealing with that type of dive can be pretty rough on the Ganesh. And unfortunately for Ice Age, a lot of times I think they just kind of ignored it.
But I mean, these damage numbers. I mean, Favor Saver does 35k, Zek does 30k, Arc does 35k, Zax does 36k, almost 37k. Like, they were dealing the damage, and they just could not handle the damage that came back to them. And
it's just the range problem of.
Yeah.
And really like the Agni, hoping that Ice Age goes back to that. I thought the Agni kept that game closer than it could have potentially been. But yeah, I think really you gotta figure out some way to deal with the Yorm, because that's just too much damage.
Yeah, it really is. Well, we're going to head to a quick break, and then when we come back, we'll find out Does Going Ghost close this out in 2, or does Ice Age take us to a game 3? We'll find out in a short bit. from being the caster, the head caster in QSO is that they never do it.
Alrighty.
Anyway, welcome back to the CSL. My name is still Raptor. Joining me is still Helenu, and Helenu. The early game was going bright for Ice Age. It really was. Late game, it just kind of fell apart for Ice Age, and Going Ghost just kind of ran away with it. What do you want to see in game number 2 for picks and bans for Ice Age? What changes do they need to make?
Yeah, they're remaking it right now. Just a little miscommunications with captains, but we'll be underway shortly here. But I think you have to address the Yorm. Whether you decide to first pick it.
Welcome back, everyone. I am sorry for that little bit of technical difficulties, but we are back in. I'm still Raptor. That's still Helenu. And Helenu, you want to continue the speech you had before we went to break?
Yeah. Oh, hey, they answered it. Great. Yorm ban. I love it. I think you have to either top pick it or ban it. And they ban it. So love that adaptation. Curious if they'll also take away the Chiron. I think that combo is definitely makes both pieces shine a little bit better, but Skillsy looked very, very comfortable on those Chiron ults. So wouldn't be shocked to see them go back to it. Notably, I think here is that either Freya or Soul will make it through with these bans. So curious to see what Ghost decides letting through. I imagine the choice is let through Soul is Freya is just so oppressive right now in the hands of a good Freya player. I don't know for sure that Favor plays it, but I imagine most ADCs play Freya at this point. Not care. Yeah, insta lock Freya.
Yeah, insta locking the Freya, that makes sense. But the interesting thing to me is that Ice Age banned out the Kleina when they were the ones playing the Kleina in game number 1. So very clearly they were playing for one of the magical ADCs, I would imagine, whether it's Soul or Freya. They had a game plan in mind and they didn't want to give that pick over.
Yeah, don't hate that at all. I think if you don't want to run the Cleo again, taking it away because Strat loves that character, I think, and it's something that Skillsy can also play in ADC. So taking that away, I think, is smart if you're not going to prioritize it for yourself. So you go Soul Maui, which can't complain about that too much.
When I think about tier lists, right? You have the S plus tier, the S tier, the A tier. Everyone knows how tier lists work, right? I see two gods that go into one lane, and both of them are always in S plus tier, and that's Maui and Soul. And hey, Going Ghost, who's on the hot streak, who has a hot hand, they got them. If I don't care that Favor Saver has the Freya. If I'm him, I am like, okay, I need a support that will help me through this laning phase because this is going to be oppressive.
The Freya actually has a pretty decent matchup into Maui. Anytime if he does land that hook on you, you can just kind of use whoop him, and the hook goes away, and you can ult his ult. So it's not too bad of a matchup for the Freya. I like the Guan. Guan's team fight has always been nutty. Can be a little bit susceptible to getting walled off by Maui, but still, that character is probably in the top 3 of solo laners right now, and should be of a mono jungle. It's something that Zek ran last week. I believe it won. I know it looked good. I don't remember if they actually won the specific game that was in, but it was something he played and looked good. And also does really well into Maui. Maui cannot peel that ult. He has nothing. All he can do is kind of give you protections and movement speed and say good luck. Maui, because Famana just runs right through the island.
Best of luck, Merlin. I'm gonna go help our Soul. I do really like this Merlin pick though. Flicker keeps him relatively safe, and just the burn damage he does in the mid to late game, it's absolutely insane. And I'm very curious if you're Ice Age, what are you picking up in mid to combat what Going Ghost has picked up? Because they picked the Merlin the Agni, I'm sorry, in the last game, and Zax looks very good on it. Do you go back to the Agni this game, or do you or are you thinking another pick would be better?
If it's left open, I would go back to it. I don't think it will be left open. I imagine the Ghost probably bans it here at their second ban. But I would definitely be looking to go back to that. In its place, Yu Huang's been really popular. Yeah, there goes the Agni. We've seen a little bit of, we've seen some Baba Yaga here and there. It seems pretty good. The SPL play-ins were kind of oddly obsessed with Raw. I can't. Something.
Well, Benny Q's there. That's why.
It was more than betting on it though. But yeah, I mean, potentially there's something about that pick that I haven't quite seen. But I guess it'll probably be along the lines of that Yu Huang would be the most likely thing for Cynics to go to here. That or an assassin. You do have a Freya. You don't need to necessarily put another mage in mid lane. You could go an assassin and try and bully the Merlin. Merlin can be kind of susceptible to some of those assassin matchups. Stuff like Sasano mid and Pele mid. Merlin has a hard time getting away from.
That is true. A matchup that we saw a lot in the SPL play-ins was Merlin versus Set. So I am very curious if Zax could be looking towards that. The Going Ghost, though, they're taking a lot of time to think about this pick. They still need the right side of the map to get figured out. Unless it's a Maui solo or Maui jungle. What are the odds of that? Probably not likely, but not likely. But with time counting down here, I'm very curious to see what they will go with, and they're really thinking about this, and will be the Nike. Nike, she's seen a resurgence thanks to the SPO play-ins, and I personally hate it as a casual player. But in the comp setting, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, she's good in the sense that I don't know how I feel about that pick personally. I mean, the idea kind of behind Nike, obviously, usually is you just jump in, you pop your two, and say ADCs, please go somewhere else besides hitting my teammates. Just hit this giant wall. Freya just kind of whoops Nike out of her two. So I don't know if I love it in that particular matchup. I'm also never one to doubt it going to Ghost Draft. They historically, as an organization, draft very well. So I wasn't so sure about the Chiron last game. The Chiron looked terrific. Wasn't so sure about the Nike. Nike will probably look terrific.
So who do you give it to then? Do you give it to Strat? Do you give it to Iba? But it's just been in solo pretty much every single time we've seen it in the SPL play-ins. Do you think this Nike has any chance of going into the jungle?
I don't think so. It's
Tsukuyomi.
Athena. Pele.
My Getsu burn bright! How dare they lay a hand on me?
Welcome back, everyone. Apologies for that. A little bit of technical difficulty. We're just trying to figure stuff out at the moment, which it seems to be running fine. So we'll continue on. But over in the left lane, it looks like.
I could hear you when we restarted. I took my headset off and listened to the stream, so it was working for a second.
And over in the left lane, it looks like Favor Saver does get that kill onto Iba. And they're still going over here. Radzer will end up taking down Favor. And now all that's left is Tatri trying to ward off the rest of the onslaught of Going Ghost. And it looks like he'll do so successfully. And over here in solo lane, though, things are looking a little spicy. Strat, he's able to just jump away, but he's falling very, very low. That solo lane is not fun times right now for Strat.
Yeah, that Glow occurs. I guess just really, Nike really doesn't have a way to stop Guan from channeling his 3. Really, what it looks like. All right, so coming back here, looks like the Freya did pick up a kill and duo lane there, which is a little bit scary. Did also fall down, but Freya is starting to get ahead is terrifying.
Yeah, about half a level ahead, maybe a full level. It's just a little scary, right? Both of them have Conduit's ring finished up. That Conduit's that Telekine's ring. I'm sorry, that Conduit gem doing decent damage right now, and it will be doing a little bit more later on once it turns into a gem of focus, giving her a little bit of safety as well. But looking over in the mid lane, nothing's really happening. I mean, Merlin gets a kill, but that was onto the Freya over and left. Sax has just kind of been chilling right now.
Yeah, until he can clear the wave a little bit better, he does just kind of chill in that lane. You see, like, he's done 200 player damage. He's not trying to fight right now. You do get out cleared for just a little bit by the Merlin, and then once you get into that kind of second item, you get your Jotuns online. You can start having some cooldowns up to try and look for some poke and look for some actual damage onto the Merlin.
Iba wanted that.
Yeah,
he
was thinking
his
about
3 and was like, I want this. I'm sure his finger was hovering over the blink ult button as well. But he showed some restraint and heading back to farm. Still on level with this Vamana right now. No one's really getting any advantage anywhere besides the Freya over in duo. And that's got to change soon, you would think. And it might just happen right now with a pick onto Tatry. The blink right onto 2, but I don't think he realized that Zek was going to be on there as well. The landfall. Perfect to get his jungler out, but Favor Saver does get the solo kill over in left lane. What a fantastic ult.
That's a Freya moment and Iba, whatever he's paying, not enough. Because that was an absolutely perfect Maui ult.
Well, the fight continues. The Valkyrie's discretion. Not able to pick up the kill, but it does give him enough for Zek to get a double kill. Iba able to take down the Freya, which is huge. But he has to use the Volcanic Lightning to just get away. And in the end, that's a 3-for-1 in favor of Ice Age. This Freya, you weren't lying. Freya's going to be scary.
Yeah, can we see net worth charts when you get a second? Golly, I'm curious how far that Freya is ahead, because I think it's probably a pretty good amount. Actually, only about 500 gold, so it's more of an XP lead than a gold lead. But still, XP matters. And that Vamana leading the way on the charts. 4-0 Vamana. Now, with the Berserkers, he's pretty much unboxable. The Soul's a little bit too far behind to actually fight back into it right now. He's got plenty of physical defense for the Pele, so Vamana's going to be scary for the next, it's 5 to 10 minutes probably.
It's such a Smite moment that Soul has more player damage. But Freya is the one that's 2-2, and Soul's the one that's 0-2.
To be fair, I think Soul had like 4,000 of that player damage at like 5 minutes. They were brawling over there, and now it's just Freya just you don't box Freya.
No, you don't.
Especially
look at that damage. That was 1 auto and 2 conduit procs.
Yeah, Ilzi's trying to juke in the wave there, which is what you want to do against most ADCs. It's not what you want to do against Freya. I
can list 3 ADCs that you don't want to do that against: Ishtar, Rom, and Freya. And look what's on the other side.
Can't forget Izanami.
You're right, Izanami.
And the world that Izanami has played, which is hopefully a world I do not live in.
Well, I mean, we saw her twice in play-in so far. And the team that's played her is still in the tournament, so we might see her tomorrow too.
That's a good point.
But looking back in this game, about a 2k gold lead already for Ice Age 10 minutes in. But this is exactly where they were last game, and they could not finish it up. Over on the left lane, Favor Saver falling very low, uses the Valkyrie's discretion to try and get out, but you're not going to escape that. Iba was taken. Will end up picking up the kill. 2 and 3 is this Freya.
Does at least force the Pele ult out, which I think is good to at least make sure it's not a free. kill there, get something out of the Pele's. The Pele goes Bloodforge second. Something we started to see a little bit more frequently. It's a lot of power. It's still expensive, but that pure power on a character like Pele.
Defender of Olympus coming down onto the big baby. A great Maui ult just kind of traps himself in, though. And Zek will be able to pick up the kill. Zek is on a rampage. I didn't even know. We were talking about Freya. I didn't even know that this Vermont is 5-0.
Yeah, love that. Good. Also love this gold call, knowing that Pele doesn't have an ult. It does look like the Nike's made its way over.
Well, this is where the shutdown likely happens. No ultimate for Zek, and he will end up falling.
Oh,
but Zek's able to pick up a kill on the back end. Iba was does get that kill, though, and that's a lot of shutdown gold. Actually puts him ahead in levels, and Iba's 3-1 by himself. This Pele certainly holding his own, despite his opponent, doing very well. A very risky back there by Ark. He is able to teleport in, though, but look at where they're going. They beelined it for Favor Saver, and Iba will get that kill as well. And now that might have just opened up this Gold Fury. The Oracle possession is going to Ice Age.
Yeah, I think potentially a little concerning that Understar is really under-leveled right now, but it's more, you saw him get killed there, but maybe just a little bit too far going for the support. He's level 7 still right now. I think he sacked a little bit of farm to try and keep the soul in the Merlin even. But
the trade that we saw a lot in game number 1, Pyromancer for Gold Fury. Unfortunately, Ark doesn't usually die. Didn't die at all, in fact, because no one showed up for Gold Fury in game number 1. They show face a little here in game number 2. Unfortunately, there's no question that favors going Ghost because they get the kill and gold compared to just the Pyro on the other side.
Yeah, so obviously, I think we talked about it last game, where I think in an even game doesn't feel too bad to take that Pyro change, because at least the bomb is useful. But definitely, I think gold still feels a little bit better.
So, remember, of course you remember, just a minute ago when I said that Ice Age had a 2k gold lead? They're now behind by 500 gold. That was a massive and very quick swing of pacing, favoring going Ghosts now.
The shutdown onto Vamano is absolutely, and it went to the right person too, I think is important. If it goes to pretty much anybody besides Pele, I think it doesn't feel too bad, but it going to the Pele is just absolute disaster for Ice Age. That is a character you did not want to catch back up.
Yeah, it really wasn't. And now Pele's still about half a level ahead, and everywhere else is even. Actually, scratch that. Ark has about a level lead on Strat, but Strat, I don't think he minds. He's really just gaming for the late game, and then, hey, look, you're about to kill me? Nope, you're not. Later on, a blink in onto Zax, trying to get the pick onto the Tsukiyomi, and it will be successful. Zek does get out of there, though. It is 1 for none.
Tsukiyomi... No worries. Tsukiyomi did choose to go towards the Blink, which is something I'm not a big fan of on Tsukiyomi. I feel like that character just does not need Blink. Getting in isn't really his problem. Usually his problem is surviving once you're in. So I think I would have preferred to see either a Phantom Shell or just an Aegis from the Tsukiyomi. But I guess, really trying to get aggressive on that Merlin. Also in the Relics front, really like the Sunder from Athena. It's good just with Athena in general, and it's also the biggest counter to Nike is, oh, I've got this big shield. Well, what if I Sunder it and just get rid of it as Freya falls down again?
The junglers are
made
kind
his mission to shut down that Freya.
We were talking about, oh no, it's scary that this Freya is getting a lead. He was already 13 compared to the 14 in Skillsy, and they gank him. They dive him under tower anyway. They do not want this Freya getting online. And any minute now, Skillsy will be hitting level 15. It is right there. And now it's scarier for Ice Age because that's a soul. Yes, you had a late game Freya in the lead, so it was a little scary for going Ghost. This is a soul that's 2 levels up, and Pele has been reaping the benefits Pyromancer bomb used right there on that tier 1 tower, and the fight continues. A great landfall, only picks up 1 thanks to the knockup immunity from Guan Yu, but now comes the big baby doing big damage. Zek picks up the kill onto Understar, and now the retreat call has been made by Strat and Iba. They're just trying to get out. Or are they? Strat kind of going in, same with Iba. Great volcanic lightning does tons of damage. Zek will end up falling. Iba will fall in turn, but Arc right behind him. The defender of the Olympus trying to get him out. And Tatri will survive. I don't even know how many died on each side. Right now, I just see it's a 2-for-1.
Yeah, I think Ice Age just a little bit too consistently just going a little bit too far. They keep getting these engagements like that. That's a clean pick onto the Pele. They run it all the way down to the T2 and they just get collapsed on. So I think reeling it in just a little bit. Really smart pull from Understar, almost kills the Athena.
Well, they tried to pull this Pyromancer and they will end up getting it. A lot of damage going on to Understar on this Maui, but now Sax has to use the ultimate. He's falling very low. He gets caught out, and now the Valkyrie's discretion has to be used as well. He will not be able to pick up Understar, and now he will just fall. The Soul picks him up. Gold Fury for 1, and Pyromancer, I believe, on the other side fell. I don't know who it went to, though, in all honesty, because no one has the bomb.
I believe the Ghost did take down that Pyromancer, I believe. I think interestingly in the builds, the Soul's going towards that lifesteal build, which you don't always see, but recognizing that Ice Age doesn't have a mage, or don't have a traditional mage. So there's not going to be a Divine Ruin in this game. Sure, you've got a Brawlers from Tsukuyomi, but I mean, there's a world where you go Toxic Blade on the Vamana, but you're never gonna hit 100% anti-heal on the Soul this game. Understar's in a lot of trouble here.
Yeah, uses the landfall, pulls Arc right towards him, and he's like, thanks, that's where I was heading anyway. Understar will end up falling as Tatri rotates in to secure that kill. And now it looks like... I thought they were posturing towards fire, but health bar is just a little too low, and with Going Ghost still hovering around, they didn't feel comfortable doing it. So it just ends up being a 1 for none in favor of Ice Age.
Yeah, they gotta get Understar some farm. I absolutely understand the support mentality of my carries need farm more than I do. Bowl on board, love that, but at some point you gotta realize that you've died 5 times.
I mean, the Merlin's 2 levels up because of it.
Oh,
so
100%.
It's going somewhere.
100%. And I think even as a mid laner at this point, this is starting to get to the point where I'm like, hey, make sure you split, get this farm, split with me. He has a Spirit Robe, but he only has 13 stacks in Prosthetics. That's not really doing a whole lot for him. And he's also doesn't have Second Relic yet, which is a huge deal.
Yeah, that's a massive deal.
They went Blink on the Nike, so that to me means that they're counting on the Maui to get the Ankh for Vamana, either an Ankh or a Sunder of his own.
Speaking of,
he's level 11, so
yeah,
that Ankh or Sunder's not coming anytime soon.
Look at this grouping though from Ice Age. They really want Favor Saver to fall here.
Poor Favor.
Soul going under. He's completely unaware. Half health just from the Soul alone. Has to go into the Valkyrie's discretion. That's a massive win if you are Going Ghost. And now they'll just back up. Gold Fury up in about a minute, which will be about when that Valkyrie's discussion comes back up. If they get a pick onto Favor Saver with any time with the next minute, that's a free Gold Fury.
Yeah. Looks like Ice Age had all of their wards over on Fire, which makes sense. There's no Gold Fury up. Why is there gonna be 4 people sitting at your T2? Freya just had no wards in the jungle there, no idea. And Burn's a pretty important resource from the Freya. It should be back up right before the Gold Fury, so I assume the idea there for Ghost is strip Freya's ult before Gold Fury, and then you get in a much easier Gold Fury fight. They might have done it just a little bit too early.
Yeah, and looking at Soul's build, we do see the Demonic Grip filled. Look at this! Ice Age immediately heads over to that Pyromancer. They're not even contesting this Oni Fury. And going Ghost, look at this. Strat teleporting over, making sure that nothing is happening. He actually teleported to the Phoenix. I did not even realize that
Zach was
pushed all
threatening
the
that
way
Phoenix.
up there. Pyromancer does fall to Ice Age, and the Oni Fury uncontestedly will go to going Ghost. Actually, did Pyromancer? Yeah, it did. Okay, Zek just picked up the bomb.
Yeah,
So
Pyromancer T2 and Pyro for gold, which I don't think is too bad there. Will be interesting to see if the Vamana keeps on that kind of split push style. He has 4 attack speed items. He's slapping. It can be a character that's kind of hard to deal with in that split pushing because it's hard to 1v1 him. Pele probably one of the better characters at it, but I don't hate the idea of having your Vamana be kind of a pseudo split pusher.
Well, Maui has finally hit level 12. He has yet to back for that second relic. What do you want to see in that relic slot, as he's sure to back at any second now?
I think as long as it's an Ankh or a Sunder, they're both fine. Ankh, I think sometimes people forget about, does also remove percentage of shields, so it's good for the Guan and for the Vamana ultimate, and Sunder is just pure for, Vamana goes into the ult, you double Sunder him, and you just melt him before he can really do anything. I think they're both reasonable. I think as long as it's one of those, I don't mind it too much. What I don't want to see is like a shell or something of that nature, because I think it just would leave them lacking that option to deal with the Vamana and the Guan, really.
Well, look at this. Ice Team is team split push. A great landfall pulls in Tatri into his team, and now Zax completely in the grave. A great volcanic lightning goes right onto Tatri, but look at left lane. The left lane Phoenix will be going down very shortly. They're trading out fire for this Phoenix.
It is the good Phoenix. It's the side that you want to get it on. I mean, if you don't think you can take the fight at fire, which I think that
if Arc steals this, we have seen a Guan Yu dash steal fire down before. It will not happen this time, and now Arc surely the fall gets the stun onto Radzer, but he's sure to fall here at any moment. Nike will have jump up, and she will. There it is. But Phoenix for, what was that, 3 and Fire Giants?
It's a regular Fire Giant, so it definitely, I don't think, feels completely horrible. It is going to give Ghost a really good chance to take all the towers.
Well, it's going to feel terrible if Zek gets caught out here. But with all the movement speed from the blades, the speed buff, and oh yeah, he's just Vamana, I'm sure he'll be fine.
Yeah, he's fast. I also love that he's playing the Rin skin. I think it's technically banned, but it's a very funny skin. I'm here for it. I just love the little gnome mashing people.
I don't think I've ever seen anyone use the gnome. I always see the Merlin skin. I always see the Neath skin. I sometimes see the Bologna skin. I don't think I've ever seen anyone use gnome Vamana. So this is a treat for me. I'm enjoying seeing it.
Definitely coming back because Vamana's come back into the meta a little bit. He was kind of absent towards the end of last season. But yeah, good skin. Definitely recommend. Is it? Looks like it was he went with a shell for Understar. I don't love that. I think it's gonna make it really hard to deal with the Guan whenever they have to group up. I mean, they haven't, and Guan's even gone into the healing sickle, so he's really gonna heal. And there's, I mean, you have a divine. Actually, you don't have a divine. It looks like Ratchet's going at last. These team fights, until that Divine Ruin's done, should favor Ice Age, I would think. Which is, you have a Guan with Healing Sickle versus a Merlin that doesn't have Divine yet, just have a Brawlers.
Well, that was a massive cooldown to have down Defender of the Olympus. Great landfall pulls Tatri back in, and Tatri will fall up into the big baby. Go Zek. Favor will take down Understar, and the chase is on. Tons of damage onto the backline. Skillsy will fall in the end, but look at Sax. Sax is so low. Strat will end up picking the kill. Zek takes down Razor, though. Right now, it's a 3-for-2, and the chase is on. Iba is out, so it isn't going to be a full-on Diaz side. Strat, he knows he's gone, just trying to do as much damage as possible. 4-for-2, and that's Fire Giant off of basically everyone. And with Problem Fury up, it looks like that's exactly where they are going.
That's a huge win for Ice Age. As you remember, they split pushed that Phoenix down for Fire, so now Ghost isn't getting a Phoenix for their Fire, and Ice Age got one, and they only lost the T2, so that ends up being huge for Ice Age. Really good defense. I think Zach just went absolutely massive in the back line there. Still think you gotta figure out how. I think they've got to be a little bit more aggressive, Ice Age.
That could be a bad trade, though.
That is less ideal. The good news is I think he'll be alive when Fire Giant comes up.
He will be 10 seconds late. So if Going Ghost pulls it immediately, they will be in a 4v5. But are they set to do it? I mean, look at the Fire Waves pushing in left. They had to send Skillsy over there. I don't think he'll be over in the Fire Giant pit in time for this fight, so it might just be a 4v4 anyway.
Looks like Skillsy's gonna take care of that last Fire Wave, make sure they don't have to worry about that while they siege, and just take the 5v5 at Fire, which...
And you know they're putting wards everywhere to make sure something like that doesn't happen again.
Yeah, it doesn't actually clear out that last wave. Should be okay. That last wave might be enough to take Phoenix. It's a little surprising that Skillsy didn't clear that, because it's still pushing. That Phoenix is really weak. That's something to keep your eyes on them. Is you see they're pinging it there. Ice Age knows. They think it's going to take the Phoenix. I think they might be right.
Well, here we go yet again anyway. The Fire Giant dance does start up. Arc falling a little bit low, about 3/4 health, but he is the one with the healing. Who doesn't have the healing is Understar, who just walks up and gets shredded. Zach, though, on the other side, goes into the big baby. The shield and lifesteal keeping him alive, but he's still falling very low, able to find the kill onto Radzer. And look, now the fight is turned on its head. Skillsy will fall as well. That's both backliners down for the Going Ghost. Zax will fall to Iba, unfortunately, but what can you do? Strat is over in the left lane, clearing out the fire minions. Oh, he does teleport in, though. Iba is still here as well. This is not going to be a free Fire Giant onto the Freya. Does the Goomba Stomp go? Blink in from Iba, but he just gets shredded instantly. Iba falls Arc, and the Fire Giant is still being pulled. Understar is here, though. He does not have landfall to secure it, though. This is all on Strat to try and do what he can. He forces out the Athena.
Favor's too low.
Oh no, Favor is very low. And now, can they do it still? They are still on it. Great whoop! Go, stole it! Understar stole it!
Oh no, that's a...
What stole it?
After. Understood. I wish we had the SPL, what it was stolen with. That had
to have been an auto, because he already used the hook.
It had to be an auto.
It had to have been the auto.
Oh, that feels so bad for Ice Age. They played that so well. It's literally probably an Maui auto. That's a rough one. They will get the Pyromancer, which is a little bit of a consolation prize.
I mean, if you're looking for the bright side, right? Favor survives, which is huge. The Fire Giant is only on Radzer. It wasn't enhanced yet. It would have just been enhanced right now. So it was not an enhanced Fire Giant. And that left side Phoenix is weakened. So you can fight over there. But still.
They're feeling confident. It looks like they want to siege this left side. I mean, they are up 4,000 gold. I mean, I guess it's essentially an even game. They do have a good siege with Guan, but they don't have a lot of Phoenix damage. Freya struggles really hard with actually doing damage to a Phoenix. I mean, you can poke it with like Tsukiyomi Hydros autos, but it's not gonna be a quick siege like it is with a traditional hunter.
Well, caught out a little bit but again, he is the one with healing, and he does have teleport up as well. He hasn't upgraded yet, but I'm sure he has the gold to do that if he does want to back and teleport back into this fight. A nice hook there. Catches out Tatri, takes him down to a little less than 3/4 health. The dance starts, though. This is the dance, and now we have to ask. Actually, it looks like Going Ghosts are stepping out of their Phoenix line over in the mid lane. Zek is a little lower than half health. This is looking like a very promising fight here. Poor Ice Age, a great pulls the beats from Tatri. I didn't even notice that he had beats, or he doesn't have beats. Magi's, yeah. But up into the big baby goes Tech, and Tech will take down Iba with just a sliver of health. And now in the mid lane, Strat is forced to jump away, and it's a 5-on-4. And with this healing from Arc, Zek can stick around, but he does have to be careful. He is still very low. The health bars for everyone on the side of Ice Age, except for Favor, is very, very low, and it looks like that'll be enough. They are just going to call for the retreat. So they get 1 kill. Unfortunately, it wasn't the one with Fire Giant.
They're trying to bait this here, yeah. Ghost realized, and I think those caltrops might have given it away. I think if Tsukiyomi holds those, they might have gotten that trap to work. But as it is, Ghost backs away to pick up an Oni Fury, or Ice Age backs away, excuse me. Picks up an Oni Fury. You know, still doesn't feel horrible considering you lost the Fire Giant to Maui Auto.
Yeah, I mean, just look at game state, right? They're about 4.5.
Even game.
Okay, gold up. It's an even game. You're right.
Your carries are almost all full build. Your supports aren't, but supports aren't full build like ever right now.
Well, I mean, look at the build difference in the supports, right? We were talking about Understar being under-leveled. He is still 3 levels down, but look at the item difference between him and Tatri. That is massive. I mean, we already saw how important having that Magi's Cloak was online was for Tatri there. He absolutely dies if that landfall pulls him in. But yeah, Understar just can't step up to anything.
He's surprisingly tanky. I mean, I think this is, kind of what people have realized, that you really only need 3 items on support. Like, sure, like, Tatri's gonna get, like, a Spirit Rope here or whatever, but, like, if Tatri's in a spot where they're gonna die, that Spirit Rope doesn't matter. I would have much. Doesn't look like they fully upgraded the Thunder. Maybe they have fully upgraded the Thunder. I know for a while they hadn't upgraded the relics, which was part of the reason the item difference looked so bad. Yeah, it is the greatest Thunder. Actually, that's not the upgrade. It's the
Favor Saber falling very low, instantly forced up into the Valkyrie's discretion, and oh no, the Volcanic Lightning pulls Iba closer, and Strat will take down Zax. Iba takes down Favor. Tatri falls as well, and now 5 strong. They have to take down the tower, right? They know that tower's there? Yeah, they do. Okay. So they will take down this mid-tower. Arc is still here, though, taking a bit of damage.
It's just not doing.
Where's Zek? Zek took left Phoenix again! Zek took the left Phoenix again, but this could be game if they're not careful. Zek's back is actually going to go through, but they are in the Titan room. This Merlin damage is doing so much. The Titan is falling. Arc is too low to stay in. The Titan so low. Zek will take down Iba though, but it will not be enough. The Titan was going Ghost when they were down 3K still to win game 2.
Yeah, Understar, that is the most impactful 07 and 10 game you will ever see. He did everything for them that game. Not saying Iba had a great game. I mean, obviously it's never just one person, but I think MVP of that game is absolutely Understar. The Maui ults were on point. Stole a Fire Giant with an auto.
Stealing the Fire Giant is enough to earn MVP if you win the game in my books, but my God. Understar had a great performance. That slash line does him no favors.
Yeah, felt like Ice Age was really in that game for the large majority of it. I think they just, chased a little bit in some spots, and the Tsukiyomi mid just didn't seem to hit the mark that they wanted to. But looking at it, the Nike pick again, we were, kind of questioning, or at least I was. It did 31,000 damage, and it's tanky. I mean, you can't argue too much with it. is Iba has another great game on the Pele. Every time he's gotten that Pele this season, it's looked great.
I don't want to throw shade at Strat, but I kind of want to see what happened over in that left lane. Because Iba dies because Zek is able to get his back off. They win the game anyway, but
Yeah, when I saw that happen, I
happened.
thought it was kind of crazy that Strat let him back.
Because
Doesn't
Zek
matter.
had no health.
knew.
Zek
He
was
knew.
tanking the Phoenix.
He knew.
Zek had no health. And Strat just walked past him to clear the minions. But no, it was a fantastic game by Going Ghost. Very clean, even though in the middle and even at the end, despite what that last fight would say, the game was in Ice Age's hands. It really was. They had full control of that game, of the pacing, really. And it was just that last fight around the Fire Giants.
And
It didn't go their way.
Don't want to harp on it forever, but that Fire Giant that Maui stole would have gone to 4 members of Ice Age. So, I mean, it's just
That would have been the end of the game.
Heartbreaking way to lose a set. I really think that if that Fire Giant goes to Ice Age, they're feeling quite good about the state of the game. But
it really is, and it's very unfortunate that that's how it ends if you're Ice Age. I think that if we go to Game 3, I think we would have been in for a slugfest between these
definitely.
two teams. They were going back and forth in these two games. I would have loved to see a Game 3, but unfortunately, that's going to be it for us tonight. Going Ghost takes down Ice Age 2-0. I've been Raptor. He's been Hella New, and we can't forget Jolly Green. Through all the technical difficulties, he did fantastic as our spectator. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you all next week.